juices,
You
and he's
want to know
that
what my
quick.
response is, Ron?
Yeah,
Why ain't nobody asking about all of the people he did that to successfully?
of course, of course. But it must when we get a direct
You
quote. I
don't
feel
say
it's
things like that
right.
loosely unless you've done them before.
Correct.
You know, there was this time I was out when I was in my party days and still clubbing and stuff like that. And a guy walked up to me and I knew he recognized I was Jaguar, right? I knew. Everyone in that place knew who I was. And he walked up to me and he was like, "You got one of the prettiest mouths I've ever seen." That's where he started. And he said, "Why don't you come out to my car with me and show me what that feel like?" I took a sip of my martini and I looked at him and I was like, "You're not even going to offer me a drink first?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Here's my answer. Not even with your mama's mouth." He got offended, acted like I just rejected him, his rite of passage, and stormed off. And I was all kinds of every kind of female dog you can think about. But what hit me was when he walked away, not that he asked me, but how casually he asked me that.
Of
And the
course.
first thing that I thought to my mind is, how many chicks has he said that to when it worked?
Yep.
Right.
Because he didn't say it. Guys don't just walk up to chicks saying wild stuff like that they don't
Yep.
know. They're
Not.
afraid to get a drink thrown in their
Yep.
face. They're afraid to,
Not
Yep.
on. Not on day one of being a creep. That's high level creepy
not day
behavior.
one.
Correct. It's
Oh,
not
But
day
she
one.
makes
intersection.
Mhm.
I'm at the bar minding my business. I get swiped by a weirdo who asked me to give him fellatio because I have one of the prettiest mouths he's ever seen.
Yeah. That's
I
not a
should
day
have
one
I
thing.
should have grabbed that Grey Goose bottle and bust him in the head with it. But instead,
Yeah.
I told him, not even with your mother's mouth.
it's you know what though it's an interesting point because it's like Jag was saying earlier, right? So how many times did the guy that said that about your mouth get away with it, and how many people did not call and get an attorney because they still got a contract going or they still got whatever they've got them tied into this so that they can't say, yeah, he did that to me too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The reason
That's
I the reason I bring it up is we have now more and more examples of not day one behavior. That
Right.
was not day one behavior we seen on that video recording of what he did in that hotel. That's not day one behavior. Saying things like that is not day one behavior. And when we get direct quotes, we have to just imagine the levels of pure evil that this man's capable of behind closed doors. Because to say to a group of men, you have to do X, Y, and Z to get anywhere in this industry, and then to turn around to your own girl bands and say PIN is where we're heading, ladies. It is absolutely solidifying all of these little points in that documentary that I feel that they wanted people to go and scratch the labels of in a way, if that makes sense.
oh,
And
absolutely.
you know, and what do you think? Excuse me. When they brought up the girl bands, there
Mhm.
was the whole incident with the Pussycat Dolls as well, feeling like they were being transported around.
Well, I mean, they were
Of course,
allegedly, but I
allegedly.
know it's not. I know what it is. Nicole Scherzinger, that girl been through a lot. I was so happy when she got that show. What show is she on? She
The
was on
Britain's
with the
Britain's Got
Robbie
Talent.
Thicke,
Or
the Mask Singer.
okay,
First time I met her, she was shaking her ass in Spearmint Rhino,
yeah,
and she was dating.
yeah.
Haven't y'all noticed most of these female artists that they got now? They stop looking for talent. They go to the strip club. Want to
I
know
mean,
why? Because those girls are going to be more susceptible to the kind of
yeah,
training that these people are implementing. See, they're used to Pimp code,
Yeah.
pimp hoe
Pre-
culture.
Pre-installed conditioning.
Yep. Yep.
It's wild, man. It's wild. It's specifically in that demographic when we're talking about. Whoa. Yeah, I think
And those
Tommy.
girls would do anything to not have to go back to that pole.
I agree. You know, I completely agree. And
Look at Adria. Look at Adria English.
okay,
She diddy herself. Look at her.
yeah,
Like,
okay,
really look at what that is. Now, this woman already said she was down. This woman already said she just wanted to make it. When me and Odell spoke to her on the phone, and Odell was saying to her, you know, Jag is really against all of the abuses in the industry and whoopty whoopty whoop. Because I talked to her and I said to her, you know, in one of my earlier interviews, you were the women that I was talking about, the women who were around, who wanted to get that break, who ended up with all of the horror stories and got none of the glory. I said, there's thousands of girls out there who went through all of the same hellish stuff that I went through, but they didn't get to put out an album. They didn't get to go on tour. They got all the horror stories, but they got none of the glory.
uh-huh.
Adria English is the best example of that. And look at how she was treating. And she said, but Jag, they didn't let me, you got to sing with Jay-Z. They didn't let me do nothing. That's all she's worried about after all this time. Not the abuse, not the pharmaceuticals against your will, not any of the weird X stuff, not any of the graping, not any of the filming. That's not what she's worried about. What she's worried about is that she went through all of that and she didn't even get a video. That's where her mind is after all this time.
Yeah.
So imagine what the girls who did get the contract, who they pulled from off of a corn set or from out of the strip club.
Yep. It
They
takes.
did. They did get the video. They did get and they got to keep going. They got to keep going because if they don't, they're gonna send them right back where they came from, and they're gonna end up like Adria. Don't think he don't tell those stories to those women. You end up like her. Look, you be ready for that meet and greet, and that's sad. Takes a strong person to walk away. I would know. I'm one of those people. But what about all the people that aren't? Like this, and that's why I said this is a fist of domination and tyranny that has been punching through our society and our culture for years. It has to end.
Yeah. All right. So let me just give you one more documentary-based question before I hand it over to Tommy.
Sure.
I just because I need to do my fair share with wonderful little Nova this evening. I want to make
Oh, our
sure.
little bumpkin. That's my little
Oh,
yum yum. I just
but
want
you
you to
know,
know she's little yum yum for me.
I know. Do you know that you have actually initiated terminology and lore into my family life? Do you remember when you said she looked like a little turkey sitting
Yeah.
on my stomach? Like you, that's exactly. So now you, for forevermore, all the little kids that are born from here on in my family, we have this. She looks like a little turkey because she either looks like a loaf where she tucks everything in, or she looks like a turkey. And you
She
nailed it.
looked like
And
she's just getting ready for the roasting pan.
yeah, literally. So she's doing this thing right now where she really calms down with me. And it's a case of investing half an hour of my time against 4 hours of nightmare for Dan. Tommy, I think is just having to deal with an emergency there, so I will be sticking around just now. But let me just hit you with some more questions, Jack, before Tommy takes over this, because we spoke about you seeing this from a viewer's point of view, and it was interesting for me seeing the people you've been speaking of, right? For a start, my whole life, I've known the name I'll Be Sure, but completely have been saying I'll Be Short for my whole life and didn't realize it was a clever play on words and his name was I'll Be Like, it's really clever. And I only realized that when his name came up on the screen, right? And and again, when I say you should put something together that puts faces to all the names, because it made like, I wish that had came out before I met you. Do you know what I mean? Because it would have made your passion for things a lot more understandable for me. You know what I mean?
A lot of people don't take that my passion is based in outrage, screaming at the injustice, and the people that I love whose lives I've watched just it not along with mine. That's why I could never complain about the hell that ensued upon me. I was speaking for my friend's life and I was speaking for his legacy, and I'll never regret that.
But what is interesting is, now that I've got a face and I know how to bloody say his name properly, it puts in perspective your passion. Imagine we didn't work in a podcast together and I was a passive viewer, and I didn't have a way to get caught up on all the Jag lore that was 90 minutes and easy to consume.
Yeah.
If I don't go and do that own work, you could quite easily come off as somebody who is just passionately speaking about stuff, but I'm just going to tune out because I don't know the intricacies of the lore. And I think it would work to your benefit to give everyone a Cliff Notes version of everyone that's, part of your passion journey with this, because
well, why don't you talk to Odell and y'all figure that out? Because I have no problem with being a historian. I just
that's what I'm
the
saying.
fact that I'm a historian of pain.
Well, one way or another, I'm wanting to create something with you that just helps new people get up to speed in 90 minutes.
I love that. I'd love to do that, because people do need to get up to speed, because the truth is, a lot of this stuff happened before the internet.
Yep.
And the stuff that's happened since the internet has taken over, they're scrubbing it.
Yeah, I agree. I just think,
know what's wild? I just talked to MIA, right? Yesterday. And I had asked her about something and she clarified it for me, because it was a couple of weeks ago, right before she did Candace Owens.
Yeah.
Just where there was a video of her cursing out Beyonce and cursing out Adele. And remember, did you see that?
I need to just quickly run to help. But before I go, the reason I'm saying this is your words have way more weight behind them when people understand fully who we're talking about, who's involved, and all of that. I've got a totally different perspective of I'll Be Sure now.
Yeah.
I totally get it. I've looked into the man's eye. The man also, as well, it takes a rare man can pull off one of those hats, right? That he was wearing in that. He nailed it. Like, completely nailed it. And I know I'll Be Sure is the iceberg in this. We've got the visible 10% and the 90%. He's had to play the way that he's playing it, and I respect it. And I just think that your words are so powerful.
I told everybody everything. It could put people's lives.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I'm stupid enough. I'm not crazy enough to be saying that. But I think it would be really good to be able to go, oh, you're new to Jag. Here's the Cliff Notes. Here's the 90 minutes. Go get caught up.
Let's break it out, because I want everybody to get up to speed. I don't want them to miss the history that's about to be made.
I agree. Okay, I'm going to go and see to Nova. Tommy, if you can try and keep Jag on the documentary for the next 30 minutes, and then we should.
I can't make any promises, Holmes. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, of course. We're going to talk about it. I promise.
All right, good. I'll nip back in, but I just need to go and do my thing. So anyway, thank you very much.
Take care of it. Have a good time. Yeah. So listen, this is while I was watching this documentary. I'm now going to have to go back
Do
and
you
watch it
mind if
again.
I cam down for just a second,
No, I
Tommy?
don't mind if you calm down at all. You're
Okay.
good. Just don't leave me.
I'm not. I'm here.
One of the things that while I was watching this documentary, and then I probably would like to go back and watch it again, knowing exactly when it was made was kind of fascinating to me because it
Yeah.
does change the entire perspective on this. But the gentleman that and you probably discussed this before I came on, but one of his best friends from life, right, from growing up, lived in the same house with him.
Yeah,
Actually
Tim.
had moved into Tim. That's right. Had gone off into the military, but this gentleman has left the music industry and has moved into the middle of nowhere. And he described it as, well, I'm somewhere out in the woods. I guess you'd call it off the grid. He did not want to even give people a part of the country. And I found this fascinating. The whole hidden room in his toilet in the bathroom. He's got a wall that slides out of the way so you can go and look at the trophies of his life, like his gold albums and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
It was fascinating to me that it looks like this man literally ran from the world. What does that say about this industry and about the people that he was associating with and doing business with?
It says that he really underestimated who was watching because I know those treetops. I know exactly where he is.
Wow.
And I hope you hear me, Tim. I know exactly where you are. If I can figure it out. But, you know, it speaks to, it got real. He tried to get away. What I don't understand is I want to know what happened to his son. Because it was like he walked away. And then his son died. It's funny. That's what happened to me.
No.
I walked away and my grown son died.
I had one other question for you, Jag, because I thought for me it was fascinating. This is the Peacock Network, right? This is the same people as NBC. The difference in how they treated Voldemort, right? Jay's accuser versus how they treated the Diddy accuser was like
Night and day.
Night and day, right?
Same network. Tell me something. Why didn't they handle the autistic woman with the same care that they handled this woman?
Well, because I think he's still being protected, right?
I mean, as much as he can be.
Right.
I mean, there's this woman out there named Jaguar, right?
Good. How's Ziggy?
Yeah, he's just coming down off an infection. So he's going to be fine. And thanks everybody for your concern. But yeah, he's all been checked out. He's good. We've got the onions chopped up. We're good to go.
Excellent.
It works. It works.
Yes.
Is this the bottom of the feet onions? Yeah, no, this does work. I learned that from the brothers in prison. They do that all the time, man. They'll buy them out of the kitchen for that. That works. That's no joke.
And it draws it right out.
Yeah.
And gives the immune system a chance to recalibrate naturally.
Yeah, we don't need big pharma. F big pharma.
I'm with you, 100%.
But anyway, I've missed what you guys have been talking about. I apologize for repeating myself. But watching the documentary, then, so I'll be sure what he said. Does that give some credibility to Courtney saying about the diary?
Well, this is the thing. What I said when I sat with you guys, when me and Courtney went head to head, technically would give validity to Courtney, technically, except for the fact that he can't be honest about how he got it. See, I made it very clear that I knew it was real, that it had been disseminated and parceled out in pieces. And I knew he wasn't one of the people that got anything. I know that. I'll be sure said very plain and clear. The diary was real. The memoir was real, but it was incomplete. I have also said on several occasions last year that if I were them, I would have got my hands on some of that book, whipped a whole bunch of horse shit around it, and let it create all the reasonable doubt out there in the world that I needed to. And it looks like that's exactly what happened. Whatever him and Chris Todd did, it was fabricated greatly. They took real information. Now the question is who they get it from. Because I know what I received and I know when I passed it on. I know who I gave it to. And that person don't know no Courtney Burgess and they never heard of no Courtney Burgess. And I will not say who it was on either end, coming or going. What I will say is whoever they got it from, somebody need to check their financials because I guarantee you're going to find a new house, a new car, something. They found that. When Diddy found out that Kim was writing that, he went into cleanup mode. People are also forgetting that Baby Love's mom was spying on Kim for Diddy. She didn't find out until late in the game.
And what about all the pneumonia stuff?
That house was also broken into a year after Kim passed away. Who breaks into an empty house? In that kind of neighborhood, they went looking for something. I guess they were looking for the rest of the pieces they couldn't get their hands on.
There was a lot of insinuating about the medical method of unaliving regarding pneumonia. What were your thoughts on that?
Limonia?
Pneumonia.
I call it limonia.
Limonia.
See, pneumonia is something that happens naturally. And with proper health care, you can survive it. But see, that limonia, it just creep up out of nowhere. Every time somebody about to tell the truth, that's going to expose a lie. Next thing you know, here come the limonia. Low bar limonia. Allegedly, just like Brittany Murphy had. Low bar limonia. You know, it's
And her husband.
Yeah. Ashton?
No, the one that she was married to. About a month and a half after she passed, he did.
Oh yeah. He was out of here too. Kind of just like how Bobby Christina passed away and then Nick Gordon passed away right after her.
I didn't realize how close Albie Shaw was to death, as portrayed in the documentary.
On several occasions. I wasn't joking or exaggerating when I said we prayed him back from the grave. That zipper that they cut in him. The last time they opened it up, they said the whole medical team jumped back. They said it looked like a bomb had went off inside of him.
Oh.
I don't talk about that often because that was a very, very, very